What is up, guys? This is Mindy, also known as TheKarmicDF on YouTube, and you guys asked, I delivered on how to get through the next couple of years, a little bit of life hack going through this new transition. Anyway, so I've been doing a lot of research on other psychics in the community, other tarot readers in the community, mostly YouTube, and not like to discriminate against them, more like to educate myself because I'm also a divination reader. And I have figured out a lot that I think could really help you guys. And the first thing I want you guys to know, because my guides keep telling me to tell you guys, it is not control, it is damage control. Start off by saying that obviously there are places that are 100% affected, and we will get into that, but a lot of us aren't. And we're buying this whole let's be afraid thing. And the main one I want you to focus on right now is consumerism. Look at how much we panic buy. I also want you to notice how many people are quitting their jobs. They're also trying to up the minimum wage. These things are connected. People don't want to work anymore. They know that they're being taken advantage of. And when they aren't getting the money that they need, the government, what do? They try to give more panic. And that's why you have to turn off the news. Please just turn off the news, because there's no need. There's just, if you can't control the outcome of a scenario that is affecting you, you don't need to know about it, okay? I know it's painful. I know it hurts. Pray, wish them well. But if you have no control over it for the sake of your mental health, you have to let it go. Stop watching the news and get off Google. I can't say this more. Get off of Google. Again, this has more to do with consumerism than control, which we will get into. With Google is two things, right? One, obviously, the people that pay a lot of money to get their articles up will get their articles up. But the second one, the more important one, is it's based on what you search for. AKA, if you are, a fan of one president, right? And you try to search for good things on a president you hated, you're not going to find that. You know why? Because that's not something that you would usually click, which means they wouldn't usually get money for that. So they redirect you to something you would likely click. Google is an unintentional division. And this has been proven. If you've seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix, if you haven't, I highly recommend it, because we're going to get into that as well. Social media influencing your behavior, your mental health. You're seeing it on like those big YouTubers that are losing their mind. It's not even because, well, they're definitely bad, but they're losing their mind to this extent because of how bad the energy on the planet is in general. You tie in astrology, the age of Aquarius, the fact that everything is going into retrograde, our childhood wounds are being resurfaced. Yeah, this is all sort of intentional, but it's not about fear. So don't buy into that. Again, I just keep hearing it's not control, it's damage control. And it's starting to slowly progress. Fears, if that is not the most obvious proof of the age of Aquarius, she has an Aquarius moon, 13 years being held hostage by money, coming out and speaking out and naming names. This is what's going to continue to happen. It's not over, because people are tired of shutting down their voices. We're all feeling this on a global level. This is widespread. Sidetrack a little bit, but remember how Gateway Experience was released and the army was using it? So you really can't tell me that the government doesn't know that astrology exists and it works. They know about spiritual stuff. They know that there are mediums and psychics and that there's good and evil. They know what's going on. So you don't need to buy into this fear anymore. Personally lives in America. I've watched plenty of documentaries where you can literally see the change, where they used to sell the American dream as like this happy family that lived in this nice little place and lived a happy life. Somehow we got lost in translation and people got greedy. Here's a really great example of this. Water is a $75 billion industry. $75 billion made on basic human necessities. I'm actually going to leave this in the video. I went to Google that just to double check. And now it is expected to reach $334 billion by 2023. Think about that. And you got water coming out of Nigeria, Nestle in particular, so boycott them. Water, I know that's little, but we are sold dreams. We are sold everything, technology, all of the ads that we consume each and every day, I want you to think, when is the last time you heard your own voice? When is the last time you sat down and really just grounded yourself? Because I promise you, a lot of the mental health that you're struggling with is because you can't hear yourself anymore. You're taking in everything from every different angle and avenue, and then you're sitting here and you're wondering what's wrong with you. So you want to cling to something to feel safe. And what do? We cling to the government. And what do? They use that to their advantage. Now, I'm not saying that they have control. We can get ahead of this. They are not in control. That's why they're slowly doing little things like, oh, look at that. Suddenly, we're forgiving debts and stuff like this. Isn't a coincidence. It's just happening slowly because, again, damage control. I'm not sure exactly how bad this is going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be short. It's, again, another strategy to try and bring money back in, like revenue back in. But it's going to feel like we're out of food and they're going to make us panic buy. So if you're worried, just slowly stock up so you have a little extra, and if someone that needs food, give that to them if it were ever to get to the level that they would like it to get to. But again, remember, damage control, because consumerism isn't working anymore. I want you to think about something, okay? By 18 years old, you're supposed to know what college you want to go to, what career you're supposed to have. But your brain isn't even fully developed until you're 25 years old. So what does that tell you about our system? It's not about us figuring out what's best for us and where we get, where we need to be. It's just us being another number in a working industry. For the next couple of years, things may get tough where you may have to take a job you don't like and things are going to happen, and we can't always combat stuff like that. There are real things that are happening that we can't ignore, but that's not really what I'm focusing on here. It's more of your mental health, because the more that you consume stuff that you don't need to be consuming, the more you're working yourself into bad mental health, back down a dark road that you don't need to be in, because the fear is not necessary. It's fake. It's all fake. Say that again, I want to stress that I'm not saying COVID isn't real. That is not what I'm saying. I do believe that COVID's real. I've seen it happen to my friends and family. I know someone who died from it. I'm not going to play with that, and we're not going to get into politics, because it's not even about politics anymore, because capitalism doesn't work. So who cares what side you thought you were on? We're going on a side of change. Think about Facebook, for example, and your friends on Facebook, right? Originally, we thought it was designed, to keep in touch with your friends, with your family, right? But what did it become? It became, let's pretend that I'm doing okay, right? And then we watch our friends that are doing okay, and then we're like, oh crap, well, I'm not doing okay, so now I need to pretend that I'm doing okay. And meanwhile, nobody's okay. Like, no one's all right, but nobody wants to take the first step to admit that, because we've been so consumed by suck it up and get over it that we don't even know how to have feelings anymore. And that's why we're being so triggered right now. It's not because you're going crazy. It's not because you're having a mental health crisis, although always talk to your doctor. It's because you're purging stuff out that you've probably been suppressing for years. And that's okay. If you have a day where you just feel like you need to cry, let it out. There is nothing wrong with crying, and whoever told you that it was not okay, I'm here to tell you, you are loved, and it is okay to not be okay. Honor your feelings. Let's go back to science for a second to help the spiritual community here. What happens when you suppress your emotions? Excuse me for the stutter. What happens when you do that, right? You end up with physical health conditions. I used to have super high blood pressure, right? To the point where I was rushed to the ER. Why? Because of so much stress, because of so much. I don't want to get too far into the elites, because I see what's happening with psychic people that go big, so I don't really want to get into that. But they'll get their justice, okay? That's all I got to say on that matter. They'll get their justice. You're seeing people that are... Tom Hanks, great example. Tom Hanks, right? All these sexual accusations came out, and then all of a sudden he gets COVID, and now he's not really online, but like he's posting online. All of it is weird and stuff. It's happening behind the scenes because justice is coming. And I know it's hard to see that, and I know it's hard to believe that, but that's because they don't want to lose control. That's all this is about. All I keep seeing is like, if you've ever seen the GIF on Facebook where it's like that dog in the middle of fire and it's like, I'm fine. I keep getting that visualization, but like Biden, where it's like he went into office and now it's just like, oh shit, like I have no control. Like that's really, so just stop worrying. Like obviously people are 100% going to be affected by this. I know that people are going to continue to be affected by this. But if you're one of the people that's not going to be affected by this, but is just getting the tug of like the media, then turn off the news and get back to what matters, because that is exactly what this is all about, equality. We are not supposed to be so divided. We are all supposed to be equal. We are all supposed to love and support and accept each other, but we just went down the wrong path and it got way too far down to the point where astrology, Mother Nature, the spirits that be had to take care of it. And that's okay. That's good. That's a good thing. I also want to point out that at the same time you're seeing all of these Hollywood elites getting like pulled out from things that they've been doing and hiding, you're also seeing a lot of creators, musicians starting to rise up. Do you see I'm getting like the Temperance card in my head right now. It's like Judgment Day almost, but in a good way, guys. Like it's balancing itself out. The people that should have had the chance to get to where they need to be. Because we've been saying Age of Aquarius is the year of the take, right? And a lot of the people, especially the empaths, getting fed up, right? They're getting fed up. They know that they can offer more in the world, but like life has handed them an unfair hand, you know? This is going to stop. This is going to get better for us. It's just going to look scary and crazy as it's coming through the next year or two. 2023 is when it's predicted to be over. We'll end on terms of like what's going on in the world, because there's just some things you don't need to know. You know, there's just some things that you just don't have to immerse yourself in. So let's get to the positive. How do I keep myself sane during all of this? And here are my tips and tricks, and what works for you will work for you. What doesn't, won't. First of all, if you're an empath, you need to meditate. You have to meditate. I'm sorry. Now more than ever, you've got to get used to that. You can do very simple meditations. There are nighttime meditations on YouTube. Good Vibes is a great one. Minds in Unison is a great one. You're changing your energy right now. And if you can do that just by sleeping, no work required, just putting a 9-hour video on, like, take advantage of that. Also, there are Reiki healing videos as well on YouTube. Take advantage of all these things that are offered to you. Get off the television. The news is not reliable. It is to an extent, obviously. Like, we're not going to completely deny it. But we also have to acknowledge that, like, even they're scared, right? Like, everybody's scared. The whole world's scared. We've been called to go back to basics, to go back to what truly matters. And I know that that's hard to come to terms with in such a crazy time. And to the people that like want immediate justice and stuff, like, can you imagine if it all came out at once, what that would do to our psyche? If we just found out all the people that we loved were like really crummy, you know, like we gotta like just get away from the stuff we don't need to know about. At this point in the game, like, it's not worth it. We've already hit the shift. It's not worth it. Don't do that to yourself. You have to remember why you came here, and that starts with you. That starts with hearing your own voice. Get out into nature. Ground yourself. All it takes is 20 minutes in the grass to ground yourself. Do visual meditations, you know, where like, I like to do one where like I visualize myself being grounded by Mother Earth, you know. There's a lot of videos like that where you can see roots, you know, you see yourself being pulled in by roots so that you can feel like you're part of the earth again. But what you need to do is limit your social media intake on what you're watching. Like, do the things that you watch benefit you? And God, yeah, I'm talking as far down as true crime and like stuff like that. I know we love that stuff. Like me in particular, I love that stuff. But if your mental health is not in a good state, you need to do high vibrational things, you know, high vibrational music, high vibrational television. Watch a romance movie instead of a suspense thriller. You know what I mean? It's taking all these little steps to help you better support yourself. Like therapy. You can't afford a therapist. There are therapists online. Do you kind of see like this switch over almost, how we are relying on each other, kind of like socialism? Again, I don't know what the future holds, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. If I find out, I may or may not share it, but I don't know. But like, we are using each other as a community, as a support system, like it should have been in the beginning, in the very beginning. So when you work on your mental health through therapists, like I love Lisa Romano on YouTube. She's great for codependency, stuff like that, so that you can learn to love yourself. Because again, when you're being fed all this crap, it's as simple as ads, right? We can't even be comfortable in our own skin. How can we learn to love ourselves when we're being spread so many lies? Like, you need the newest phone, you need the newest clothes, you need the newest this, that, you need to wear perfect makeup, have perfect hair. And then you wonder why you have mental health problems. It's because nobody says, hey, like, just live your best life and figure out who you need to be and where you need to go, and the world will support you. We're not at that place. We're in a place of consumerism where how do the people benefit us? And that can't sustain anymore. And we are slowly taking that down. This is a good time to be alive. And I know that it's scary, and sadly, it's going to come with a lot of loss. And just pray for the people that we can't help, you know, pray for their safety, pray for their well-being, but don't absorb all of that if you are so empathic that you're a sponge, that you're losing your sense of self. You have to be grounded. You have to be rooted in your reality, or you're just not gonna handle this well. And you want to handle this well because it's going to get better. It's just that time, it's time, you know, it's divine timing. It's like America, especially in particular, it's like they're having a tower moment. Like, can't sustain anymore. It's got to break down, restart globally. You're seeing it happen everywhere. And it's scary. Yeah, sure, of course, because people are being affected. But, you know, do what you can to help. If you can sign petitions, you know, if you can help people's lives in any way to make them better, then do that. You know, it can be as simple as smiling at somebody if they hold a door for you. You can create the world that you wish to envision for yourself. I don't think that came out of me. That's not something I would say. Okay. So yeah, the year of the take. It's really about the year of the take right now. And the year of the take is exposing the people that weren't of good intentions. And you're going to continue to see really high up people being continuously exposed, being continuously fired, you know, killed. We won't get into that because God forbid this video goes too far, but justice will prevail. Just know that justice will prevail. It's just a matter of you keeping your sanity by releasing the confines of technology and consumerism and getting back to with yourself, your core, who you are as a person. Because once you can clear that noise out of your head and be able to actually think for yourself and make calm, rational decisions based on research, facts, evidence, and honestly, like these days, trust and you don't have to trust me, but like look at your psychics and your tarot readers that are going big and they're predicting things that completely contradict everything you're hearing in the news. So just stop watching the news. Stop watching the news, please. I'll leave you with everything that I personally do every day to keep going. And then I'd like to hear from you guys. You know, what do you guys do to keep yourself sane? Can you guys help the other people in comments? If we can get this, you know, a community-based type of thing, let's help each other out, because right now that matters more than anything else. But if you want some tips on how I get through personally, I start my morning with a morning meditation, again, all of these things are on YouTube. They're so easy to find. Do a morning meditation. If you have days where you have nothing to do, right? You're just like chilling and you're just like in your thoughts, do some sort of playlist, Reiki healing playlist. Do that. Have that in the background, you know, have that as background noise. Start like reading instead of consuming television. And if you are consuming television, watch higher vibrational shows and listen to higher vibrational music. Happy stuff. That stuff is important right now because you can get immersed in that feeling. Once you get immersed in that feeling, you can break out of this panic and fear that you're experiencing. Also, listen to your body. If you're having days where you're energetically drained, don't push yourself. It's a time where you need to start listening to what you need. Something may randomly come up for you at times. Honor that, you know? If all of a sudden you feel sad or angry, or if you feel very antsy but you don't know why, sit still. Sit still, be quiet with yourself. And I promise you, I do this every time. I'll be quiet and then I end up having an argument from something that I didn't remember even bothered me from like a week ago. Because again, we internalize a lot of the stuff that we want to say, but we don't feel like we can say. And again, when you think about health and how that clicks and coincides, this stuff matters. And right now, more than ever, this stuff matters. And it's really easy to do. It just requires practice. Similar to you being able to get up every morning, go to a real shitty 9 to 5, come home, feed your family, go to, you know, it's the same type of vibe. You just got to switch your priorities. You can meditate in the morning, listen to healing playlists in the background during the day when you have nothing to do. If you can get out into nature as often as possible, if you can limit your exposure to toxic types of social media, if you can do all those little steps, you will get to where you need to be. It won't be as heavy anymore. And the more you do that, the more you help other people do that, because this is a ripple effect, right? We're all seeing it happen. We're seeing the shift change, and you are totally a part of it, and you can be a part of it and get out of this on the other side and be happy and be free. But right now, what you can't do is depend on the news and worry about things that you don't have control over. Pray. There's power in prayer. If you have no control, power in prayer. Sign petitions if you can do those things, but don't overwhelm your body. You are one person. Honor that. And you've probably held your emotions to a degree for a very long time. Again, this is a moment in time where we need to start honoring ourselves, because it is no longer about people controlling us. It's about us realizing that the control was always within us. If you like this video, if it helped, if you want to see more content like this, if you want me to keep you guys updated as I find out things, because it seems like I just always find out things, then leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me if you guys need any other types of, you know, advice, coping skills, everything like that. Guided meditations, super useful. You know, if you can't get out of your own head, guided meditations as well. Honor your body. If you have days where you really can't sleep, it's the energy. I understand that it's really, really hard. But then when you have those days where you can sleep a long amount of time, take advantage of that, you know? Just let your body go through the energetic transition that it needs to, and lose sight of your ego, because it's not gonna make any sense. And the more you try to control it, the more it's gonna be overwhelming for you. If you can take these tips and bring it back down to what really matters, the true little things in life, why we are divided in the first place, we can finally get back to a place of peace. And I'll leave you guys on that note. I love you, my babes. See you next time.